SPMP サイドストーリークンネチプ
Previous overview. While they were eating, information about the injured came in, and when they went to the scene, there was a man standing there who had a grudge against Susa, and when he noticed Kunnecup, he attacked her. Thanks to the people who tried to seize the man, I was safe, but a few people were injured and the man eventually escaped. I was stunned as I watched the back of the man running away. Why is this happening? How did he know my name? The only time I met him in person was 10 years ago when he came to see my mother, and while he may remember my face, he probably doesn't know my name. I am scared and my body trembles. It's scary if his grudge against Susa was directed at me as a family member, but what did he want to do in the first place? Totally incomprehensible. Injured people were left at the entrance of Kodan, and the surrounding area was in turmoil. When the man who had caused a commotion and fled was no longer visible, the women who were watching the scene rushed to the injured people who had been cut with daggers and began to treat them. However, those who were bleeding and collapsed were left on the spot. When I calmed down, I thanked the people who had protected me, and then went to check on the injured who had fallen. The three were unconscious and breathing, but in critical condition. When I called out to the people around me and asked them to take care of the injured, a lot of people gathered and took them to a nearby house and started treating them. However, whether or not their lives can be saved depends on the condition of their injuries. I don't know what happened to them, but if they were in the company of that man, they must have come from a long way away, so it's a miracle that they came here with their injuries. I hope they recover somehow. Later, as I was looking at the people who had protected me again, an old lady came and urged me to go back to the house. As I was on my way to the elder's house, I turned around and saw the person being treated facing me and smiling. Even though they were supposed to be in pain due to their injuries, they showed me a smile that cared about me, and I was happy to see their kindness. When we returned to the elder's house, the old lady told us to stop leaving for the day and see how things were going, so we decided to stay a little longer. We don't know what happened to the injured people, and we have to be cautious because the man who escaped may still be nearby. And after we had spent some time in the elder's house, we were informed that the injured man had regained consciousness. When we went to the house where they were taken, two of the three were sitting up and being treated for their wounds, and one of them was breathing with his shoulders shaking painfully, and he looked very painful. And the person who was lying there was breathing, but unconscious and in an anxious state. When I went to the side of the only person among the three who seemed to be able to talk to him, he turned to me and nodded lightly to greet me. When I asked him what had happened, it was exactly what I was worried about. They were heading to a village near a sand mountain just beyond the mountain, he said, when they were attacked just before the village and fled. However, when he tried to escape, he was surrounded by enemies, so he said that he did not think many people were able to escape. I asked him what they were going to the settlement for, and he replied that we just wanted to get back where we had originally lived. What does that mean? I asked him what he meant, and he replied that he had heard from Alaza that the place was originally our land and that he would only have it returned. And Araza is the man who escaped, and he seems to be their chief. It was the first time I had heard his name, and he told me his purpose, but his claim that it was his land was not convincing. It is very far from the place where the Yaso people live to Odanupukodan. Moreover, there is not a single Wajan living there. I don't know why he's making that claim, but it's hard to imagine that with so many weapons ready, they were heading to Kodan for talks. If they had arrived at Odanupukodan as it was, it would have been horrible. For the time being, I'm glad that Kodan didn't get attacked, but what if the people who were ambushing them were Susa? If it's Susa, does that mean the news of Chalati arrived in time? As I was thinking about this, many worries crossed my mind. Are the people of Odanupukodan safe? Kodan, where Momu and Chalati live, should be close to Odanupukodan. I hope Susa isn't hurt. The more I think about it, the more anxious and heartbreaking I become. Today's story ends. The continuation of the story will be updated every Saturday. Please look forward to. If you like, please subscribe to the channel. See you again.